Around that time, I wrote a poem called Fight Them, Not Me. It used to go, if you get uptight and you want to fight, fight them, not me. They'll come over too strong, but it's the truth. I'm a revolutionary. You know, I believe there are institutions in this country that will always be racist. And the only way to deal with them is to break them down and start again. No politician is ever going to admit this, but you've seen it throughout the ages on a national scale or international scale. When they are dealing with the people, they love divide and rule. You know, if the people they are dealing with are divided, are squabbling amongst themselves, then they don't have such a big impact on them. They're not unified in order to confront them. If you check out the scene and things don't right, see them, not me. Look, you're angry about housing and the way that we are policed and the streets and stuff like that. And so am I. Don't fight me. Let's not fight each other. Let's get together and confront the politicians. I came, I saw, I live here, and I have my tribulation to bear. If you're getting uptight and you really want fight, fight them, not me. Especially at times like this, some people are feeling really good. We've hosted the Olympics. You know, there's a royal baby, the sun's shining. That guy, what's his name, just won at tennis.
Andy Murray.
Andy Murray. I was going to say Tim Henman. That's the wrong one, isn't it? I just won at tennis. You know, we are doing really well. Nobody wants to talk about deaths in custody. Nobody wants to talk about people with mental health problems that are being left on the streets. Nobody wants to talk about how many libraries every week are being closed in this country. Nobody wants to talk about people who are being forced out of their houses because they have an extra bedroom. Nobody wants to talk about all that stuff. We think the public are easily tricked into believing that immigrants are why we have problems in housing, in Boston, in Lincolnshire, they did a survey. This is a very small town, it's one of the most immigrated towns in Britain. And they did a very thorough survey looking at that place. People were saying that schools are struggling, hospitals struggling, antisocial behaviour on streets. And not only did the police say, we have seen no rise in antisocial behaviour. The biggest finding, what I found most interesting, was that the local hospital would have closed down if it wasn't for the immigrants, especially the maternity ward. And so when we look at the real facts, we find that it's just scaremongering. I remember, if you live in a kitchen and you can't afford chicken, blame them, not me. I mean, there are more corrupt bankers than there are people kind of filling the system, the welfare system. And we have to admit at the moment, in this time where we are now, things are tight. But why? It's because politicians, when it comes to public money, and bankers and people like that, when it comes to a certain extent, even those people have public money, because they took money that we put in for savings and things like that and gambled with it. So and they all talk about the market forces and everything, and they're all for market forces and the fittest of the fittest survive. Until they struggle, and then suddenly they become socialists and go, can we have some public money? The tax you pay is high, and you live up in the sky. See them, not me, I come. What I don't like is when I put money in the pot to help you, and they take that money and go and spend it on wars and things like that. That's what really gets me. And I think then it's my duty as somebody who's patriotic to go, what are you spending my money on? Why are you building up your arms trade and not looking after my brother down the road. To me, that's being patriotic. I come from afar, but I live here, and all I want is an equal share. If you're getting uptight and you really want to fight them, not me. The fact is, Britain has always been multicultural. This is where people confuse multiculturalism with race. The Picts and the Celts, the Juts, the Angles, the Saxons, were all different tribes that came with different cultures. The only thing you could say they had in common, but they were white, they were Europeans. When a lot of people who speak negatively about multiculturalism now, they're covering their racism. And I just think we've got a long way to go. We've come a long way. When people say that, it's not changed from the 70s and the 80s, I have to say that's not true. That's not true at all. There's lots of, in a very kind of, it may be superficial and it may be capitalistic, but, you've got black people in jobs now that I would never have imagined. Well, that's not true to say, I would never have imagined, but I certainly didn't see as a youngster. And sometimes I see, and I have to do a double take, I go, oh, yeah, black person doing that, wow, that's cool, It's just really bizarre, You see a person in a turban doing a particular job, you go, oh, God, that's. So, on the day of the performance, we were being briefed, as you are in the dressing room, and they said, okay, when you go on, you bow to Her Majesty, and then Benjamin, you don't have to bow. And then everybody went, well, why doesn't he have to bow? And then it was explained I didn't want to, and then everybody else went, well, I'm not going to. Mm-hmm. It just took one person to say that they don't want to, and they're not going to, and then everybody else followed it. But up until then, everybody just thought it's just the thing you do.